You try to get out of court site and it just reels you back in. You know, you can't leave. It's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you just cannot leave. Wake up, chili pup. What is going on, chicken bone? I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I got a lot of information to cover. It's tax time. It's tax season. Yesterday, I did my taxes. I may be all over the place in this video. I'm going to try to keep it on point, but as things pop into my mind, I want to relay that information to you. So it took me a couple hours to do my taxes. I do it on TurboTax. I use the app, do it all on my phone. I had all the documents that I needed already downloaded from different institutions. You'll need your 1095A from your health insurance. That's if you get it on healthcare.gov, the marketplace, which I do, and a lot of people are doing that now. You'll also need all your 1099s. If you have any investments, there'll be 1099 miscellaneous, there'll be 1099 INTs. Google is one of my main sources of income because Google owns YouTube. So you really don't get paid by YouTube, you're getting paid by Google. And they'll send you a 1099 or you just download it from your Google account. So I had all the documents I needed. I had all my 1099s, I had all my 1095s, all that stuff. I do my taxes yesterday, it took a couple of hours, and here's where it gets very important. If you get your health insurance through the marketplace on healthcare.gov, when you first sign up, they're going to ask you, what do you expect to make this year? And you just got to estimate it. But whatever you do, don't underestimate it. If you're going to make 40,000, don't say you're going to make 30,000. Here's why. You got to pay that money back, whatever you underestimated. And it's brutal. My tax bill this year is $1,900 because I underestimated. And yeah, so that is a budget killer. It's a budget killer. $1,900. That's almost 2 months of living for me. And what makes it even worse is I just took 2 trips to the dentist. On top of this, one was $953 and the other trip was $668. So that's what, $1,600 right there on top of that. So $1,600 and $1,900 and Maddie's tapped out. It's terrible. I went ahead and paid it all. I didn't set up a payment plan with the IRS. I did that years and years ago, back in 2012 when I got divorced. We all of a sudden went from a 2-income household to just me, and then I had all the same bills, so I took out my 401k early. Then I had to pay a tax penalty on that. But I still have another 401k from my last job in Nashville, which I will never touch until I'm about 60. That way I can touch it, I can take it out with no tax penalty. So years ago, I set up a payment plan with the IRS, and it took me like 4 years of paying every month, paying that off with interest. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. If you can just pay it off, pay it off. Luckily, I had enough to pay it off. But man, oh man, this is really brutal because in a couple of weeks, I got to drive across the country. That's going to be, what, $1,000 in gas, because I got to go to Georgia and check in on my dad. Timing is everything. If I would have just waited a couple of months to do my taxes, but I can't, it's already, what, March the 9th? And the tax deadline is April 15th, I think. I guess I could have waited till April 15th. But I had no idea I was going to owe so much. I thought I was going to owe about 400, 500 like last year. I think it was 500 last year. But I just thought this is very important. I got to tell you this information. Be very careful when you pick a health insurance plan on healthcare.gov. It's not so much the plan, it's the information they gather on you at first. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't do their taxes, you can't get health insurance from healthcare.gov marketplace because it's all dependent on you filing your taxes every year. If you don't have a good, clean history of filing your taxes, they're going to give you a lot of problems, okay? So when the politicians come out and say, they don't tell you all the details. You know, they candy coat everything. So even though, let's go into the numbers now. I am very happy with my health insurance from healthcare.gov marketplace. My premium is $25 a month, which is outstandingly wonderful. Without this ACA, I'd be paying around $400 to $500 a month, $400 to $500 per month for just me on health insurance, and I don't have any pre-existing conditions. I'm as healthy as a 53-year-old man can be. No medications, no high blood pressure, no diabetes, nothing. So imagine if you have poor health and you're trying to get health insurance, your premium's going to be way more. So let's say with the money I've got to pay back in taxes, it's $1,900. So that's really about 4 months of health insurance premiums that I would have had to pay if I didn't have the ACA, that's Affordable Care Act, helping me out for subsidies. Subsidies, think about what are subsidies? The energy companies have been getting subsidies from the government for decades. Who pays the subsidies? The taxpayers do. So finally, us little Joe Schmoes out here are getting a little bit of a subsidy from the government to help pay our health insurance. See, when you pay your premium, let's say you get a plan from the marketplace on healthcare.gov, and it's $25 a month, and you say, wow, that's amazing. Who pays the rest? Well, the government. Who pays the government? The taxpayers. So before you say, oh, I'm paying your taxes, I'm paying your health insurance. Well, you're also paying all those subsidies for the oil and gas industry. So how bad do you feel about that? So what it boils down to is I'm getting about 6 or 7 months out of the year where I'm actually getting help with my health insurance premium through subsidies through the government, through the ACA. Because, you know, if I got to pay back $1,900, or maybe next year it might be $2,000, who knows? But whatever you do, overestimate what you think you're going to make. It's going to raise your premium, but it's going to be worth it in the long run because you won't have to come up with a $1,900 lump to pay all of a sudden. And, you know, it's wonky the way they present the program to people. They present it as sunshine and roses, and it is good. It is good, but it's only half as good as they tell you. Would I prefer to not have the ACA? No. Am I complaining about paying $1,900? Well, yeah, a little bit. But, you know, I'm looking through the 12 months of the year of what I'm actually paying for versus the subsidies that I'm getting. And it's usually, I think for me, it's about 6 or 7 months of the year. So yeah, it was a terrible blow when you finalize your tax and you're doing it on turbotax.com and the little wheel starts spinning, showing it's calculating and it's finalizing. You're getting so excited. And then it comes back and it says, you owe $1,900. Would you like to pay that now or get on a plane? I went, no, you got to be kidding me. So I went back and reviewed everything, did it 2 other times just to make sure I didn't miss some kind of tax credit. So always go back and review all your numbers because there may be something in there you've missed. I domicile in the state of Tennessee. Tennessee still does not have state income tax. That might be changing soon. I hope not. So I didn't have to do any state income tax. I just breezed right on through to the end. But if you're in a state that does state income tax, like I've lived in Florida, I don't think they do it either. Alabama does, Georgia does, South Carolina does. There's only a handful of states who does not have the state income tax. And luckily, that's why I stayed domiciled in Tennessee, even though I haven't been there in a while. All of my legal documents are still out of Tennessee. You know, driver's license, health insurance, everything. And when you get a health insurance plan, you never know who's going to be in network. Like if you leave your state, I got lucky the last 2 years because the plans I chose just happened to have network doctors that were in Arizona and New Mexico and California and Texas and Florida and Alabama, not just in Tennessee. I don't know what advice to give you on that as far as choosing a plan, because as far as I know, there's no way to tell what doctors are in network throughout the United States. So you just got to pick a plan and cross your fingers. I wish I had information on that. I just don't think it's available. Okay, so I know I said I was going to keep this brief, but I had so much to talk about. That's why I'm trying to talk fast, trying to get it out there. But let's wrap it up with this. If you do not have health insurance, you must have health insurance. Back after I had the COVID and I had all those problems, I had to go get a chest scan where they scan my lungs, like a x-ray of your lungs. I had to go to a cardiologist and get an EKG. All this stuff that would have been thousands of dollars, and it ended up costing me, the whole thing was like $100 for everything. And that was the urgent care, that was the medicine, that was the cardiologist, pulmonologist, all that. So, and always stay in network, because the plan I have this year is a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, and it's going to be really good if I stay in network. If I have to go out of network, it's not going to help me hardly at all. So good luck doing your taxes. I hope you don't have to pay as much as I did. That's going to really bust the travel budget this summer. That's not so bad, because I hadn't planned on doing much travel this summer, because last summer I did California, Oregon, all those, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado. This summer I think I'm just going to stay right around Colorado in a small area within a 100-mile radius all summer. So I'll be heading back east to visit my dad probably the last day of March. So I'm not going to do any driving. I got to save up. That's going to cost me about $1,000 in gas. So I'm just going to stay put. I'm back in Quartzsite, by the way. I came here to pick up mail, and I think I'm just going to hang out in this area for most of the month and just not spend any money. You try to get out of Quartzsite and it just reels you back in. You can't leave. It's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you just cannot leave. All right, my friends, thanks for watching. Take care, be well, and smash the bell.